7 main types of buyers. You need to understand who you're selling to and how they differ from one another. They all have their own agendas, as do you. Selling successfully has always been dependent on knowing your target audience. Strategic buyers. These tend to be companies growing via acquisition. They search for purchase targets aligned with their own offerings or providing complementary products and services. Compatible culture and cost savings derived from being able to eliminate business function overlaps are viewed as bonuses. Sometimes this comes at a cost to you, as redundant staff are at high risk of being let go. On the other hand, superior staff could find themselves with better positions in the new merged company. Your entire corporate identity can end up disappearing as the new owners absorb you completely into their world. So if you're looking for an exit where the future of your company, its identity as you created it, and your staff is a key concern, you may want to avoid the strategic buyer. 2. Private equity. Typically an investment vehicle for institutional investors or high net worth individuals. Limited partners invest their money into funds that general partners of the firm use to buy companies, usually targeting businesses within a specific industry. The firm's executives ideally maximize the growth of the companies in their portfolio over a 5 to 7 year period. Then they move to your side of the desk selling the business or businesses, earning a return for the investors and themselves. Private equity executives contribute financial resources and corporate experience to help take your company to the next level. Sometimes this includes retaining you, the owner or operator, over an extended period of time beyond a traditional 18 to 36 month transition. Assuming you all get along, the new owners will benefit greatly from your years of experience, expertise, employee, vendor, and customer relationships. This is a two-way street. If you'd prefer to retain a piece of your equity stake, selling to a private equity firm could prove to be the way you drive your business to its full potential and share financially in the success. They will more than likely make changes you don't agree with, as they are usually looking to maximize the profits over the short term. Additional owners equal more decision makers, quite different from running your own business the way you want to. Board members can get in the way of innovative ideas. They can also help to avoid bad ones and bring good ones. They will likely be fixated on the bottom line. Family offices. While resembling private equity groups in some ways, they differ in other characteristics. Family offices invest the wealth of a single family, or maybe a couple of families, often but not always focused on the industry where they made their fortune. The top priority is to make sure the wealth continues to grow over many generations. They can also understand the dynamic of a family-run business with all its added challenges. In some cases, they can bring solutions. It's often the case where, over the years, less and less family members actually participate in the businesses they own. Compared with private equity firms, family offices usually hold less risky portfolios, investing over longer periods of time. As with most high net worth people, family offices can operate well below the radar and be difficult to identify or reach. Introductions by mutual friends and business associates tend to be the communication method of the day. Mostly investing with cash, not debt, they offer sale prices usually lower than other buyers. If you're fortunate, you could sell to a family from within your own industry. The bonus of their connections, experience, industry guidance, and financial assistance might help propel your business to incredible new heights, beyond what you ever imagined, or you simply cash out. Holding company, buy and hold. Sometimes called shell companies, they exist to buy and own other companies. They don't operate, produce, or sell any products or services. Instead, they generate revenue from the profits of the businesses they have an investment in or own outright. While everyone points to Warren Buffett as the classic example, there are many holding companies operating with interests in specific industries. Berkshire Hathaway has interests in a myriad of often disassociated companies or industries. Holding companies typically prefer a controlling interest in the companies they invest in, or they simply own outright. They often have a hands-off relationship. If you continue to be successful, that is. If you fit their criteria and pass the strict financial and management success standards, it can be a good way to cash out. As with private equity firms, additional owners could mean extra decision makers, could be a benefit or a hindrance. Search fund. Search funds consist typically of an individual operator or two. They're backed by a group of investors looking to buy a business and take over running it. Investors don't always have the time to get involved in multiple companies other than on an advisory basis. They do, however, have a need to make their money work for them. After all, it's an investment. So the fund identifies an operator with a desire to run a company, a proven ability, and the level of experience to successfully do it. The operator's first task is to find an appropriate company to buy. The group then buys your company for the operator, confident they will generate a return. The operator earns shares of the company over time, and after reaching agreed upon milestones, usually tied into profit. Typically, the operator is committed to a long-term relationship with the investors and the acquired company. The company gets an often younger full-time leader and a recharge of energy and ideas. A great way to take your business to the next level. You may get to see some of these ideas you put on the back burner actually realized. Your employees. You can sell to an outside party or look inside to your employees. Some owners dream about a buyer who comes in, doesn't change anything, the company continues on as if you were still in charge. If that's your goal, you might think an employee stock ownership plan, or ESOP, is the answer. Just remember, there are no guarantees. New folks in charge will always have their own ideas of how things should run. This methodology can be complicated, and not every business has staff that want to accept the responsibility or have the skills necessary to be successful. You need to bring in a specialist with ESOPs and discuss it openly and honestly with your staff. Just because you think it's a great idea doesn't mean they will. There are government programs to assist with the process. Rules change by country, state, or province. It might be a good idea to find a champion within your own organization to do some of the initial legwork. If you can't find anyone to put in the work up front, perhaps an ESOP is not a viable route for you and your company. Newbie buyers. Lately, I've been receiving calls from new buyers. That is, a business person looking to buy a company. Traditional retirement isn't how they see their future, and buying and running a company is one of the options on their list. They may never have purchased or run a company before. Their previous experience includes senior management roles, running a department, or even running the whole company. However, they may not have in recent years run an entrepreneurial venture of their own. In some cases, they are looking to buy a job. Franchises used to fill the need. Now these folks are also considering the purchase of a company on the smaller side, often with under $3 million in annual sales. Sometimes the appetite for an acquisition is far grander, and they could be hunting for a $5 to $10 million company. So they begin the long process of fact-finding, networking, and talking with lots of people about buying a business. The process can take years and be very frustrating, particularly when they try buying a business directly from the owner, as we have discussed earlier in the program. Each newbie buyer I speak with immediately tells me about the business they tried to buy, how the seller was difficult to deal with, unreasonable about price, and in the end, often left the buyer at the altar. It's a recurring theme. Sellers would benefit by asking themselves which of these buyer types they think would be best for them and why. Turn this module or lesson into a conversation with the intermediaries you're interviewing. Pick their brains, if you will. So here are some questions. Which of these buyer types do you think would be best for you to sell to and why? Strategic buyer, private equity, family office, holding company, buy and hold, search fund, your employees, or a newbie buyer. And don't forget to discuss these ideas with your intermediaries to get a sense of utilizing some of their expert experience to make this very important decision.